Previously on Raising American Lamb. From the winter permits on the desert, the sheep are brought home for shearing, lambing, and the beginning of another year. With the herds on spring country and the green grass and new lambs beginning to grow, we start the next leg of our journey and head into long days, shorter nights, and the joys of summer. We live a dying way of life. We make a living off the land and the livestock we run on it. It might look different depending on where you go, but this is what it takes us to produce American lamb and wool to put on your table and in your home. With the warmer weather, the grass and the lambs begin to grow. The snow begins melting off the mountain and the summer ranges, so it's time to truck everything home from the spring range and get them to greener pastures. Our sheep are in several different places in the spring. Not quite as far as in the winter months, but it still takes a lot to get them loaded and home. Most of the places we go in the spring don't have a permanent corral, so we need to bring panels and wire netting to build one in order to gather the sheep and get them on the trucks. Corralling this many sheep and little lambs can be difficult. The lambs are still learning how to follow and herd. By now though, they are pretty good at walking, running, and playing. When they get excited and start running, it can turn into what we call a lampede. It can happen in a hurry, and luckily, with good dogs and help, we are usually able to get everything contained without too much trouble. When we load ewes and lambs to move to a different range, we load them lighter than usual, so they have plenty of room to move around. We load the lambs right on the trucks with the ewes, which helps train and teach them to go on and off trucks even at a young age, making it definitely easier for the future times we load. It's amazing to me, even though these lambs get mixed together, scrambled up, and loaded on trucks, then unloaded, mixed together again, and put in a new place they have never been, these little lambs will listen for the sound of their mothers and will find them again. The ewes recognize their lambs by their scent and sound and are able to get them gathered up and ready to move to the next place together. From the spring range, the sheep are trucked either to the ranch, where they will wait to be trailed to their summer range, or trucked directly up the mountain and to their summer home. We have grazing permits that allow us to feed our sheep on national forest ground during the summer months. Luckily, most of them are relatively close to home. We go from being spread across the entire state of Utah to being back at home on the mountain range that runs by the ranch. It makes for a nice change to have all the sheep close to home again. However, the early summer can be a tricky time for us. We are finishing spring feed and waiting for the grass to grow and the snow to melt on the mountain so we can begin feeding. Each grazing permit has different times that we're able to start grazing depending on the elevation, snow, and the quality of the feed in the early summer. Most of our early permits allow us to head for the mountain toward the middle and the end of June. It makes for some busy weeks in the early summer. Between putting up first crop hay and moving sheep around, there are a lot of early mornings and lots of good long days. We have herds that spend the summer in places that are not accessible to our semi-trucks. These herds will be kept at the base of the mountain on different pastures until our mountain permit opens. Then they will be trailed to our allotted grazing ground using horses and dogs. We are usually able to get the sheep to where they need to be relatively quickly. The sheep usually know where they're going, and with all the good help we have around here, it always makes for an enjoyable day. Luckily, most of our herds we are able to truck to the top of the mountain and begin the summer at the very top. Once the sheep are where they need to be, the herder will once again be alone with them to tend, care, and guide them to the best feed. Every year, we are given a grazing plan by the Forest Service detailing where we will feed and where it will be most beneficial for both us and the land to be grazed and for how long. Every year, we rotate grazing plans so we can utilize the feed in the most productive way possible, without overgrazing. We document the moves we make, where our sheep are, and when, so a plan can be made for the years to come. Sheep are amazing conservationists. They eat weeds and plants other animals won't. This helps all the other native plants to be healthy and have the room and nutrients they need to grow. This also drastically reduces the risk of wildfire. A responsible grazing permit is beneficial for everyone. With plants and animals coexisting, it creates a better ecosystem and a healthier future for our forest and rangelands, to be enjoyed and utilized by so many generations to come. The herder that stays with the sheep lives in a special trailer called a sheep camp. They are meant for living in year-round, no matter the terrain or the weather. They're a lot more durable than your average camp trailer, which allows us to get the herder where they need to be. We put them as close as we can to where the sheep will be feeding each week so they can do their job the best they can. Every week, our guys need supplies. They send us a list of the things that they need, and we bring it to them. This includes groceries and water for them, propane, hay for the horses, food for the dogs, salt for the sheep, and anything else that they may need or want. With each herd, there is 2 horses, dogs to help herd the sheep, and several other dogs that stay with the sheep all the time. Our Border Collie dogs are an essential part of our everyday operation. Without them, what we do would not be possible. These dogs stay with our herders all the time. They go out to work every day and return to the camp when the work is done. These dogs help move, guide, and push the sheep to where the herder is going to graze them for that day, and guide them and gather them in the bedground at night. They climb hills, go around the sheep, and do whatever the herder needs to best take care of his sheep. They make his job not only easier, but possible. To say that they love what they do is an understatement, and they hate to be left behind on their days off. In order to make sure all the dogs are well rested and taken care of, the herder will take 1 or 2 dogs at a time and give the others a day off to rest and recuperate on these long, early summer days. Along with the herd dogs, the herder also has another kind of dog that has a completely different job. You may have seen them if you have ever been around a herd of sheep. They are big, white, and can look pretty intimidating. These are our livestock protection dogs, and they do exactly what their name says. They keep our livestock safe. Although most of our dogs are very friendly, it's best to leave them alone and let them do what they do best. They are there to keep the sheep safe from predators, and they do a great job. However, what they do often leaves them roaming around, making sure predators keep their distance. And even though you may see them and not the sheep, rest assured they know where they are and where their herd is, and I can promise you they are not lost. If you see a lone dog seemingly in a strange or lonely place, please leave it be. The herder feeds and takes care of all his dogs every single day. They are part of his responsibility, and I can assure you that they are being watched over and well taken care of. Not only are we busy moving sheep from the spring range to the summer ranges, but we are also busy starting another year of farming and growing feed for the winter and spring to come. We raise alfalfa hay, both for the sheep and horses. We need hay for the horses all year as they are with the herd, and lots of hay for the sheep in the winter and the spring when they return to the ranch for lambing. It takes a lot of time and tractors and a lot of hands and tires to get everything done around here. Whether it's trucks, tractors, four-wheelers, motorcycles, combines, swathers, trailers, or backhoes, everything has to have tires that are round on all sides and safe to go down the road. All of our water comes from the mountains near the ranch. When we get a lot of snow in the winter, we have water to put on our crops and fields using wheel lines and hand lines that have to be moved every day. On good years, we're able to get 3 crops of hay, and our rangelands grow sufficient feed for our livestock. On hard winters, we produce less hay and our ranges don't grow as much feed, making it much more difficult during the spring, summer, and fall. There is so much about what we do that depends on Mother Nature. That's why it's so important to have good guys like we do to make sure our ranges don't get overused and overfed. Our sheep are constantly being moved. They're grazed in a way to keep overgrown areas in check without overgrazing, giving the grasses time to grow and be healthy year after year. As a rancher, it is so important for us to take care of the land. We care about the health of the plants and grasses. Healthy ranges mean healthy sheep, and that is what matters to us. This is why American lamb is such an amazing product. We are able to take green grass, naturally grown on American soil, and turn it into so many useful and amazing things. Not to mention improving range ground, national forests, and preventing wildfires all at the same time. We look forward to summer all year long. It's hard to beat an office view like the one we get every day as we continue on our journey of raising American lamb and wool in the West.